So the emulsification in oil and gas, let's talk about downtime per hour. That the cost of the pump should never be evaluated based solely on its purchase price, but rather on the economic impact that a failure can have overall on the operation. And that's what we try to market. In many cases, the purchase price of the pump represents only a small portion. Like I said, with the hidden fees, the total cost of ownership is rarely kind of taken into consideration, but the real financial impact is going to come from unplanned downtime, emergency repairs, loss of production, and the operational consequences of a pump failure depending on where the equipment's installed. So let's talk about an example. For onshore production facilities, access to spare parts, maintenance personnel, replacement equipment in general, I guess just straightforward stuff. It's based on our experience, the overall cost is going to be pretty hefty. Um, and every situation is different, onshore, offshore. The situation is very different on offshore platforms because access typically requires helicopters or marine transportation. Obtaining the spare parts and replacing equipment during an emergency becomes significantly more expensive. The logistics alone is challenging, greatly increasing probably what would be maybe an hour to fix is probably going to be upwards of 8 hours, and that's going to cost money. So in refineries, the consequences can be even more severe. A failure on a critical pump, it may interrupt downstream processes, resulting in product loss that reach up to $500,000 or more, depending on the process, the duration, and shutdown. So the biggest thing to look out here is the estimated cost. So offshore, like I said, anything that's happening, we're deploying a helicopter or marine vessel out there to either provide a spare part, provide backup maintenance people, engineers, and to provide backup. For a refinery or process facility, we're looking at 500,000. And the reason why we're doing this is because you're not just affecting the process in place. You got to think downstream too of what that's affecting. And then pipeline pumping station, 200,000. With Discflo Corporation, with our pump and our technology, we'll go through the components so you can see how complex we are or how non-complex we are and the spare parts involved with that. When we sell a pump, we typically will add, or Danny Ann will add a spare parts list just to have on hand. We don't anticipate it, but let's be truthful here. If we're drilling mud, we're drilling rocks, and rocks are rocks. It's going to beat up a pump no matter what it is. We're a great pump, but we're not a magic pump. They're if a pump will last 6 months, then will last 5 years. Typically, that's the extended life that we'll provide. However, if downtime occurs from a harsh environment, there will be a recommended spare parts list and then a dispatch. Comparatively to what you would typically have in operation, you'll have gears, you have filters, you're going to have reducers. There will be a lot of complex components to those pumps, and